And if 6, 7 memes and brain rot didn't scare you off from allowing children to have phones and you're still considering getting a phone for your kid this Christmas, this study might make you reconsider. The American Academy of Pediatrics released a new study Monday showing that owning a phone at the age of 12 years old puts children at a higher risk for depression, obesity, and sleep problems. Akron Children's pediatric psychiatrist, Dr. Michael Radovian, he is here now to discuss the findings, why we're seeing these symptoms. Doctor, thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, can you briefly explain why the study was conducted in the first place? What were they looking to learn?
Yeah, so for a long time now, we've known that increased screen time has been detrimental to kids' health. That's usually why we would recommend for kids to have about 2 hours of screen time at most. But there really wasn't a whole lot of delineation between what kind of screen time was good versus bad. So we know that kids are on their Chromebook doing things for school, or they're watching PBS, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we wanted to kind of look and see what was beneficial or detrimental about owning a smartphone. So that's why the researchers did this study.
And the study claims chances of having obesity, sleep issues, like I mentioned, depression, maybe even anxiety, the younger that you are getting that phone. How does that play into their development? What do you say hinders the most?
So a lot of times what we see in kids who have their smartphone with them at an earlier age, they have a hard time regulating themselves. So think of it as you're giving your kid at, let's just say, 4th or 5th grade, you're giving them access to an entire array of video games, computers, various distractions. So when you're giving them that, they don't have the internal capacity to really limit themselves. So when it's in their room, when it's in their book bag, when it is by their side while they're trying to do schoolwork, it's a lot more tempting than actually doing your math homework. So we see that then leads to negative outcomes. We're not seeing kids getting outside and running around with their friends. We're not seeing kids getting things done the way that they should, which then leads to a negative self-image. You know, hey, why am I getting Fs in school? Because I can't get these things done because I'm always distracted. And we see that these end up having detrimental outcomes. As kids get older too, if they're used to having their smartphone with them at all times, they're used to checking things like social media. They're used to getting on and seeing what's going on in the world or with their friend group. And the more that they see, the more they might feel left out. They might feel as though they're missing out on something. And we sometimes see the kids stay up 3, 4 in the morning trying to make sure that they are up to date on everything that is going on in their lives.
The study links smartphone use in children to health outcomes, but the study does not prove the smartphone causes the health problems. What can parents do to limit some of the potential negative outcomes here? Do they have to block apps? What would you do to advise a parent to decrease some of these risk factors?
I think the biggest thing that parents can do is just be aware of what their kid is doing on their smartphone, on their computer, on their video game system, whether that's, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, whatever. Be aware of what your kid is getting into. That could mean that you are asking them to give you their phone. It could be a point of agreement that in order for you to continue having this, I reserve the right to look at whatever I want to on here. And if I see something that I'm not okay with, we're going to have a conversation and there's going to be consequences. It's also important to have that sense of open conversation with your kid, because there may be situations that kids get into purely innocently that they then feel worried that, hey, if I go to mom and tell mom that some weirdo is hitting me up on Snapchat, she might take my phone away. So let me just handle it myself.
Yeah.
And then we run into situations where they kind of get in over their head. And if it had been addressed earlier, then it could have been nipped in the bud, so to speak.
Yeah, important
so
conversations
for parents who do
to have. Yeah.
Exactly. For parents who do decide to have the smartphone for their kid, because there's benefits to it, it's important to have that open line of communication and have those conversations throughout the whole process.
Well, great information. I really appreciate you weighing in on this. I think a lot of folks had questions about, okay, now we have the evidence, what do we do? So thank you so much for joining us here to explain.
Absolutely, and always feel free to reach out to your friendly neighborhood child psychiatrist if you ever need anything.
Thank you.